generations could get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Hey, we switched. There we go.
Yo.
Hollywood Squares is back. No, wait, that's another show.
You thought her all the way back.
He did.
Listen, man, we're coming off of a great weekend, and beyond kind of happened this weekend. So if we're all tired, we are sorry. It was a busy weekend for a lot of us this weekend.
I don't see myself recovering. It's like October, easy. Like
fly us expressos, please. But anyway, so Frye is actually guest hosting with us today. I'm your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law. And Tony is muted.
Tech problems. My mic kept plugging in and out. I'm sorry. I'm still from across the hall, by the way.
Wait.
Let's just keep it.
Let's keep it going. Keep it going. There we go. Usually it's me fucking messing up. Wait, where's PG-13 fucking up? There we go. I used the one.
Everybody gets one.
But we're all good. So let's talk about some announcements. So I know last Friday VT's interview was supposed to come out. We're sorry, guys, that's late. That's going to be released this week with George Medina's interview as well. So 2 interviews are coming out this week.
Speaking of which,
what up? Yeah, we're all and then podcast announcement. We will be on Catch the Craze tomorrow. So George, please share that link and announce the time and all that. I am waiting for those beautiful advertisements that you're putting together because we all look fresh in our shots. So you got to use them, bro. So you better use them, bro. I'm looking at you, bro. Otherwise, me, Law, and Tony are gonna have a big extended weekend together, taking nothing but pictures of steaks and sending them to you. Okay, There we go.
They doing this man dirty.
I love him. Man. So yeah, I mean, there's not many other announcements that we do have. Its own. There's not many other announcements that we do have, but that it's this. Geeks Out Staten Island is this week and September 4th and September 5th. So we're gonna be on Catch the Craze tomorrow, and on Sunday at 3 p.m. Geeks Out Staten Island is going to interview us about getting into podcasting for their virtual show. So if you're in the tri-state area and you can happen to make their live show in person September 4th, go ahead. September 4th, the website is right there. And then September 5th, this Saturday, Monster Mania. No, go side. Geeks Out Staten Island. And then September 5th is their virtual show. But speaking of that, I mean, we
coming in hot today.
Hey! I think everyone's coming in trying to see if we're still alive after the weekend. Yo. So without further ado, we got a little bit of a pre-show for Geeks Out Staten Island for you guys. So let's play that beautiful bean footage. You guys ready?
Yes.
So without further ado, Naja is in the room, the founder of Geeks Out Staten Island. Give it up for Naja. She brought the heat, the fire today with that commercial right there. Naja, welcome back to the show.
Coming in hot. What's up?
Dang it.
Thank you, guys. I made the video myself.
Oh, see the skills.
Add that to the list of things that you have done by yourself.
Yo, for real.
Jeez.
I hate just putting us all to shame.
So we already know who and what Naja has been the founder. She's been on our show. We've interviewed her in our creator series. Whoop whoop. Naja, so told people who you are, what do you do, and also to thank you for your support this weekend because Naja also played.
Got it done.
Listen, Oh yeah, go ahead.
This was a team effort. Like, yo, shout out to you and the team over at GOASI for helping us out with Archon this weekend. It was amazing.
So
No problem.
I'm gonna give all the shout out. So Les, thank you for helping with the woman in creative, woman in the comics. Naja, thank you for just batting up, clean up, and doing it. I mean, everyone on this panel has put it together. But Naja, yes, tell everyone who you are.
Squad.
Yeah.
Hi. What's up, Cheyenne?
Hey.
Donna.
If you know, you know.
You only know if you was there.
Go ahead. It's the floors are yours, girl.
Oh, sorry. I was too busy laughing at myself. Anyway, so hello, everyone. My name is Naja. I am the creator of Geek out of Staten Island. Hold on, my chin is missing. That is a problem. Anyway, so the convention's actually been running for now our 3rd year. It's going to be this Labor Day weekend, September 4th in person, September 5th. When you get lazy, come September 4th and you want to sit down and watch something. So we got virtual. It is an outdoor convention celebrating geek culture and diversity. So we try our best. Yeah, it's good to laugh at yourself. You know, gets all the feelings out. But yeah, so we'll be having laser tag, giant Jenga. We'll be having live performances. Well, actually, what wasn't on the commercial is that we'll be having multiple panels. One panel is actually going to be talking about Japanese idols. Another panel is going to be talking about how to properly pack your cosplay props, because I think we all struggle with how to properly put that away.
That is a major one.
Cheyenne. She is my #1 fan, and I love it. she's like my ride or die. But yeah, so we're gonna have that. We're also gonna be having live painting as well as cosplay prop making. So you can actually come to our convention, use foam, different props like that, and actually make your own prop that you can take home with you that same day. So not only will we teach you how to do it, you can actually bring something home that you may want to use for, you know, a future cosplay prop. And then we'll have making like painting different shields. We'll be having laser tag. And yeah, we have a lot of other stuff. I feel like I'm missing something probably. You can check out the rest on our website.
All the stuff and all the things.
We could check out your website now, but if you get guys, Les, Law, Tony got some questions for Naja about the show, I'll bring up the website right now so that everyone can see the website. Geeks out Staten Island.
Much going on. I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, and you can check out the stuff underneath Outdoor Con, and it has all the things that we're doing for all the panels and stuff. So if you click on panels, yeah, and it's
so this is all day one, which is outdoors.
Yeah,
obviously you got the COVID safety rules because we need to be safe. Packing your cosplay, the main stage that you said, packing up your cosplay, how to travel for conventions, which I think again is something that a lot of cosplayers do touch upon. The essential guide to J-pop idols.
Hold up.
You know,
what is the essential guide to J-pop idols? And do you have one for K-pop idols?
We don't have one for K-pop idols, but we are trying to see if we can work into have one for next year, because I know I'm a K-pop fan.
Yes.
So I am right there with you.
and continue it because you hosted a great panel for and beyond with mental health for geeks and everything and in creatives, and you're doing it again now at your show, this time live on stage 11:30 to 12 p.m. which I think is a great topic to talk about and all that, and you guys did great. If anybody missed that panel, please go back to and beyond con to check, and if you happen to be at and hopefully you're recording this so you can get this all on your YouTube channel too for those who may miss it. You better have someone recording there. How to create your own original character.
Also,
I like
this
that.
This is your third, like coming on your third show. Like, what has been your headspace going from the first show to now? Like, this is like part 3, the second year doing, you know, a pandemic con. Like, what's running through your head right now?
A lot of things that read to my head was how many things are going to change within the CDC. Because that's like the first and foremost thing. That's been our topic of conversation even with last year. We actually had our convention initially in July when we first ran it. We were going to have it in July again last year, but we pushed it to September because we're like, yeah, everything's too hot right now. Let's wait and see what's going on. If it was going to be too much and, you know, people's, you know, safety was at risk, we would have just canceled it and just did everything virtually. But because, you know, the numbers were down, we got the okay literally from like New York State. I had to fill out paperwork through New York State, say, hey, I'm having an event. This is how many people are going to be here. This is what the space is going to be in. Actually, the space that we have for both last year and this year is roughly the size of 2 football stadiums. So we have a lot of
Nice.
space to socially distance and have a lot of our panels and have like 2 stages, things going on 2 different stages at the same time. So yeah, you know.
And you got a
first
lot
and
of supporters
foremost,
behind your
thank
show.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I see
That's right.
Northwell Health there. That's
Yes, Nobel Health. That's the buddies. They be supporting us and doing the things. And yeah, we have a whole bunch of different vendors, some of recurring, some new ones. Yeah, you can check out our gallery from both 2019 and 2020. So it shows like all the pictures and things that happened from like last year. So you'll see a lot of masked up pictures because we were all wearing masks. Certain pictures are unmasked because we had a specific area that people could go and they could take pictures in. Another thing that we did was we had photographers come and do free photo shoots because a lot of times we dress up in cosplay, but then got no pictures.
Yes.
Or no nice pictures. So
being someone who's been in front of the camera and behind the camera, I know that all too well. It's like, gotta get the photos, and having someone there to take the photos for you is so clutch.
Yeah, that's why we try to have it where when people come in, that's part of what they pay for their $20 for the tickets. Because right now tickets are $20. They pay for everything that happens at the con, including getting their pictures taken. You know, they get put up on the site. They get pictures, sent to them because it's important to get pictures of all the hard work that we put into for our cosplays. It's super duper important. Oh, I forgot we have geek trivia. I just was reminded from seeing these pictures in last year. So we have a geek trivia. So basically all forms of geekdom, anime, comic books, video games, Harry Potter, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Disney, all the geek.
All the
in
things.
this trivia. Yeah, all the things are, inside of that. But first and foremost, it really was about safety. The next thing was, you doing the workshop and stuff.
It involves dragons and chaos. Are you just kidding though? I don't think
I don't think so. I think that's coming from.
I would believe her if she said, "Hey, I brought a dragon." I would wholeheartedly believe.
I feel like Cheyenne is that friend. You just gotta go like, all right, that sounds plausible. Everyone's like, how? It's like
it's like
roll
you
with
don't
it.
understand. It's Cheyenne.
Right.
Les, you think that you and Kadma could get Ralph to go travel to Staten Island?
I don't know. I mean, Ralph has been getting around lately, and he shows up at places I didn't even know he could go to. So, maybe so. Maybe so. Definitely would have to ask.
Well, we're right over the bridge. We literally have 3 bridges from New Jersey that come into Staten Island. So we got Bayonne, Goethals, and Outer Bridge. And if you're coming from like Manhattan or Brooklyn, you could either take the ferry or you could take the bus over. We're not that far.
And
So
you guys,
Naj, I got to ask you something.
Yes.
You've been doing this for 3 years now.
Yes.
Have you been delegating more?
So.
Yo!
No, I'm kidding. No, I have honestly. I have been delegating more. Just a quick backstory for those who don't know. The first year of the convention, I did completely by myself.
oh,
I had was the help of my mama. The reason why I had the help of my mama because the convention is underneath her nonprofit Muslim Sister Staten Island. So other than that, I ran the whole convention, orchestrated, did all of the nitty gritty things by myself. So I have a team of 4 wonderful humans.
During that con.
Yep.
Let the record show.
Let's not sleep on the fact that you got injured.
Right.
Oh yeah, so like I didn't have an arm for like half the time, but other than that,
Yo, just putting the people out here to shame.
I gotta get stuff done. I make commitments.
Listen, you get it done. Yo, we are proud of you for it. You get it done.
But you are showrunner.
Yes, I run the show. But yeah, so like that's pretty much like what happened. I didn't have an arm for like most of the time planning the convention. My shoulder got dislocated. And then actually the week before that convention, that same year, I had to get my tooth pulled because I got a tooth infection because good old wisdom teeth and the floppy gum. So I almost couldn't speak at my convention almost 2 days before. So that was fun.
Now you got a squad. We had the pleasure of meeting the rest of the crew and whatnot last year when we did our interview with you guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. So I have myself, which is the con chair, Cheyenne, who's been blowing up the comments. She is the co-con chair. We have Mike Gilbert, who is the outdoor activities coordinator. We have David Murray, who is the panels and workshop coordinator. We have Miriam, who is the vendor coordinator. And then we have like miscellaneous, not miscellaneous, they do important stuff. Let me stop playing games with them. I have my cousin Kayla, who's an artist. She also helps out with like video editing. She usually comes with me if I'm vending at like other places to help promote the convention. So I got to, give her props and give props to my little sister because she helps out as well.
So
Family affair. I love it.
So you're doing virtual again this Sunday. So we're on the website, and it's that's going to be updated to the site too for the section for everyone to go virtual for you guys too, right?
Yeah. So the virtual is not fully up because I don't like doing things half-assed. So, so currently it's not up because everything is not fully up yet. I want to make sure I have all the proper descriptions, properly explain everybody's panels, make sure I spell everything correctly. So that should be up within the next day or two. So you'll have a full list of panels. But just to give everybody some quick info, we will have the lovely nerds of the round here with us at 3 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, EST. We will also be having POC and fantasy. So some of the panels we have in person we'll also be having virtually. We will also have Religiously Nerdy talking about religion and nerddom and how those two can combine together and how different characters remind them certain things spiritually. And we will have our lovely cosplay contest. And there might be a special panel. I might specially do a panel, but I'm deciding how much I am frying myself like an egg on a pan. So that's not
Love how you're not going to name it. You're not going to describe it. Just so you don't, you know.
That's that interest right there. That's just drumming up interest.
Maybe I know.
The hint is I will be in it.
Wow, guys. You heard it here first.
On September 5th.
Oh my god.
Potentially at 12:30 Eastern.
You got a good squad behind you. You got a good squad.
If you have anything horror, I'm just gonna throw Leslie out there right now. Leslie is a big fan of horror. She loves horror. She hosts a podcast that gets to talk about horror, which we're still waiting to come on to talk about horror.
You'll be there. Don't worry. We still got a few more months before the year is up. So expect an invitation. It's coming.
And we got spooky season right on the way.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, we're excited. We want to thank you. So this was a little bit of a pre-show for people who haven't heard about Geeks Out Staten Island, who don't know about Geeks Out Staten Island. Now you know about Geeks Out Staten Island. Now you know the dates. You know to go to the show. It's going to be an awesome show. Again, Naja has shown from when we've interviewed her, and it's been great to build this relationship with Naja because the nerds consider Naja one of our friends. She is one of the nerds.
Thank you.
I mean, we remember when you took that trek up to the Bronx. You didn't even know who the hell we were at that time.
No,
you just came up. Miriam introduced. So shout out to Miriam. Yeah. And that's when we were still shooting in person. When me and Tony were still in the Bronx, when we lived across the hall, and it was an amazing interview. Which again is, if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, you better subscribe now so you could go back and watch that interview. And then. We were honored to then have you and your whole team come on and get to know about Geeks Out Staten Island. So just to see where you guys have come from where you started to where you're doing now. And then the fact is that you did that adjustment. And I remember too, when you were going to do the live show last year. And I mean, not many people know there was a bit of controversy because we were still in stuff and all that, but you did all the measures to make sure that people were safe. And you did that because and I remember the conversation because you knew you were like, people just need something different right now to get their minds occupied. And you did it because you love the community. And that's why you do this. So big kudos to you.
That always shows you love this community that you've built and that you're a part of.
Yeah. Because like a lot of times, like, you know, we can be seen sometimes as like a money grab, right? Like, there can be many times where people who do run conventions do just see us as dollar signs, you know, walking up into the space, right? And that's not how I've ever envisioned, nor do I ever want the con to be anywhere near that. Like, stay away, goodbye. You know, because the convention was made for the people, right? By the people. And it's really to help with networking. People who want entrepreneurs, help people figure out who's in their neighborhoods that are already doing the things that they're doing, right? Who can we uplift that are artists, that are doing music, that are dancers, that, you know, are trying to have their own small business? Who can you connect with, right? Like this person owns like a t-shirt shop. I can make the designs for their t-shirts, build a partnership through that, right? There's a community-based organization doing this thing. Maybe I can help raise funds for this charity or whatever the case may be. It's really to help the community realize who is here and also realize that we also have geeks on Staten Island, because people be forgetting we exist. We are not the forgotten borough. We are the unforgettable borough. And I will keep saying that until it becomes my complete slogan.
Well, because
we love you, but we don't co-sign on that.
I was gonna be nice, but damn.
I repeat, I'm going to say it until it becomes a thing.
Listen, we love you. We love the convention. We love your community. Staten Island.
Wow, thank you so much for agreeing that we're unforgettable.
See, always
you love to see it. You love to see it.
But no, we wish you luck this weekend, and we look forward to being on that panel.
Any chance that we get to guest is amazing.
Yes,
we're here for it.
Yes,
Asha, you're definitely a young lady to watch. Just based
thank
on
you.
everything I just heard from you. Yeah, you definitely somebody to watch.
There's a reason why I had you as a guest host today, Leslie. I'm connecting worlds again.
Yes, you are. And we're just a bridge apart. I heard that.
That's right.
We're just an ocean away.
But that was our first half of the show, guys, because that was a little pre-show of Geeks Out Staten Island. Maybe we might do another on Friday. Who knows? Pay attention, follow, like, subscribe so you can see it. But now, Tony.
All right. Yes, we're here to discuss episode 3 of What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes. As we know, we talk all spoilers here. Now, I didn't think I'd get to say this again and it would be relevant to what we're talking about. But Tony Stark has died. Cliff Burton has died. All of the Avengers.
Cliff Burton?
Man, I've had a long day today.
Don't take Seabass's one job away from him.
You're right. I am. I can't.
That's rude.
I can't.
You can take it. That's fine. I'm passing the baton.
I give it back. Click. Hawkeye. Everyone. All the Avengers dead, except for Captain America and Captain Marvel. But anyway, let's get to it. That was a fun episode. It was an interesting episode. My kids didn't like it. I'll tell you that. They didn't like it. I'm watching it, and Bear's like, "Why are all the Avengers dying, Daddy?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Don't know what to tell you, kid.
Don't know what to tell you, man. I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, Leslie, I know you've been waiting to talk about this one. Who was your favorite superhero death in this show, in this episode?
Wow.
Oh, we talked about it right before, and it was the Hulk. It was the Hulk. It was horrifying and comedic at the same time. That's all I could say. I wasn't expecting his death to be that way, but I almost like it was like what's her name in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. I can't think of her. The blue girl. The blue girl. That's
the blueberry.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm about to Google it.
Violet. Lieutenant Violet.
Violet. Oh yeah,
Violet. Yeah, Violet Beauregard. It was a Violet Beauregard death. That's what it was.
Everyone got violated. That's what that sounded like.
Listen, it was just nothing but guacamole all over the place.
Oh.
The blueberry kid.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lo. You got it.
Gamma guacamole.
Ooh. Nadia, you saw the episode, right?
Oh, okay. So I'm on the same page as well. Okay, and I'm saying this is a person who is not that into horror. However, that just did it for me. I was like, this is a little bit more funny than I am scared. However, the concept of your bones and your body turning into mush is kind of scary.
For Hulk?
Like I said, guacamole. Law. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead. You
No. I mean, Hulk's a favorite because it's the most excessive.
Yeah.
It's the most excessive death. Everyone else kind of Tony Stark died from the injection, and everyone can be like, well, you know, you're messing with stuff into his veins. It makes sense why he would have a cardiac arrest or something. And then Thor, which I'm sorry, what in the hell are those arrows made from to take Thor out so quick?
Right. So
Yeah.
Thor is my pick, but it's not so much it was my favorite. It was the one that left me the most like, huh? Because for some, like, I feel like to some degree,
big brain Hank Pym. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But I'm still kind of like,
those some strong ass fucking arrows.
How, Sway? I get like that it happened. I just need the how.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Because
I think that was lazy.
Everyone
writing.
else kind of made sense of how they died. But
Thor.
No, it wasn't. It was the fact. It was the fact that Hawkeye has arrows that can pierce Asgardian skin. Yet, I'm sorry. Then maybe this is just me being me from last week, but I could have sworn my man Thor took a whole goddamn star to the chest.
Okay, but I think what it was the nanite that was on the arrow. Whatever happened, it went in and did something to his heart or whatever. I mean, it was
maybe. He also didn't have the power of Thor, because remember, whoever wields the armor has the power of Thor, and he didn't unlock himself, so we can wave it at phase 1. He's at the he's at the Donald level. I think that's his alter ego. It's Dr. Donald something.
Oh, right? That's right.
So they could say that he doesn't have his powers as a Norse god, but still.
It was lazy, right?
Yeah, see, there you go. That's there. Everyone's coming in.
There you
go. That's what I want. Correct me, people. Okay. Correct me. That.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I know everybody was gonna pick Hulk because Hulk was a funny death, but
it was like
again, I don't know that it was my favorite. I would say Thor was the most surprising. Hawkeye was the one that solidified that there's like a conspiracy thing happening.
Yeah,
because it was like,
I don't have a favorite just because they weren't excessive. It was a good plan.
Right.
And the way they died and the instances made sense for someone who was trying to do that. Those were
when did you guys figure out there was more to it? Because essentially you have Natasha and Clint, but you can to some degree think that they're working together or what have you, but didn't seem plausible, but maybe. But then you have
Hawkeye.
Right. Until Hawkeye died, and you're just like, huh? Like
until Hawkeye shot.
Until Hawkeye shot.
Are you asking? Did we think that it was one of the other Avengers knocking off the other Avengers? Is that what you're saying?
So, first of all, did you think that it was Clint or Natasha that kind of working together? And then also, it at what point did it not make sense, and your theory just got thrown out the window? If that was the case,
I never ever thought that it was somebody else from the Avengers wiping out somebody else. I never thought that, because one thing I've noticed that seems to be a running theme with this show is that people are inherently who they are throughout the whole universe. Yep. Like T'Challa is always a good, and he's got kingly. Everybody's inherently the same person. I haven't seen like a real turn, which what I was expecting with What If, I was expecting to see maybe Killmonger be king of Wakanda, and what if that had happened?
But that might be.
We haven't gotten that yet with Killmonger.
Killmonger's coming through because he saves Tony from that one scene, so we know he had a better childhood. And I think to put to your point, Les, is that Killmonger was still a very smart, strategic type of person, but his plan was on the negative side. Where now, if he has the proper upbringing, that mind that will go to the positive side. And I think something I noticed was watching online is that there's a bunch of famous lines, quotable lines that happen in the movies that tend to happen in the show, but at different times. As if, to your point, these lines were always going to be said, or these or whatever. I mean, they write it that way. But it was always going to happen in that universe, whether it's the right time or not.
Yeah, there's never a bad version of that individual. The individual is either good or the individual is bad in all the universes, from what I'm suspecting or what I've been seeing.
Well,
I think we're getting Dark Doctor Strange tomorrow. I think that's the episode that drops tomorrow.
I don't know that maybe their core belief stays the same or
Yeah.
their core values, but they still could have like the universe where they are the bad guy, but it's just a lens of like what they intrinsically view as good, not what so much changed them to be evil or to be a like different version of themselves. More of like they're the same person with a different lens or different, like they were just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like Thanos from last week.
Right. Exactly.
Thanos is the same person.
Same person. He still would have do it, but he just had a better argument, given to him.
Somebody gave him, yeah, exactly.
Well, my favorite death was Tony Stark because it set the mood for the episode. I originally thought that we might have had Winter Soldier doing it, but I kind of like this, which is going into the next question, that it was a nod to Yellow Jacket Hank Pym from the comics. So Les, I'm going to open up with that for you is how did you like that little nod to the Yellow Jacket Hank Pym, who was a little bit more of like an evil version of Hank Pym that we got from the comics?
One thing that I really, really liked about how they drew him, aesthetically, how he looked, you knew immediately that he was like off, that he was completely like a weirdo off the cuff. He looked kind of scary. And I thought it was a great nod to that, which makes anybody that is not familiar with the comic go back and say, what is this character? Who is this character? Did he really, who is this? What was he? So they are accomplishing their goal in doing that, as far as making some of us go back and try and kind of look at these things, especially who's some people who are not familiar with the comics at all or the MCU universe. You're now starting to go in there and look at it. I absolutely loved it. A lot of things, what I like about this show is the fact that it gives me that whole retro 1990s type of cartoon style.
Oh, yeah.
I love that about this. When 1990s X-Men, 1990s, it kind of reminds me of that. So I loved everything about how this is written and the fact that it's a short, like 30 minutes, without any commercial break in between. But I could literally see myself sitting in front of there with a bowl of cereal, eating it like on a Saturday morning when I watched these episodes. So I loved everything about this episode, though.
Yeah, I don't think we could have aired this episode for Saturday morning because you had a lot of screaming kids on Saturday morning. But I can see where you're drawing into like the 90s and all that. And I think it goes a lot to that show. They really did pick a great anime. And we talked about it in the beginning of covering the series, was how Marvel spared no expense with getting people who've worked on a lot of major animation projects. But Naja, how did you feel about the portrayal of Hank Pym going on the evil side? He was the Yellow Jacket.
So, fair warning to the viewers, I'm still getting on my comic book stuff. I'm still babies. One.
It's all good.
Two, I thought it was really interesting, especially because I don't know, like from the comic book perspective, I know from like movies and different things like kind of like mainstream media. So for me, I was just like, whoa, okay. And then Cheyenne's the comic book person. So if you did see POC in comics, if you didn't see POC in comics, please go to Imbion because they talk a lot about that. And so she's like my comic book guru, if you will. So I was like, can you tell me more about this character? Because I feel like I'm not feeling the feelings I'm supposed to feel when I see certain things. So I thought it was like really interesting because she was talking about like how like the Yellow Jacket's like more demented in comparison to how like the character really is. So that part I thought was really cool.
Law.
So I'm with Naja on this one. I didn't know so much about like him as Yellow Jacket. I think I remember hearing about it maybe on TikTok or something like that. Like that was a thing, like that was an alternate version of himself. So I appreciate the nod. I feel like this show is going to give us a lot of nods, and they have been so far. So I'm loving that they're literally, because we've seen it throughout the MCU as a whole already, that they literally just look at something so obscure, but they know that one fan or that few fans that they're gonna be like, oh, it's a small little nod, but it shows that they actually care and they took the time to like do their research and do their homework, and for us give that sense of like reassurance that it's in good hands, so that that attention to detail that he was this darker version as Yellow Jacket, while it being something obscure for most people, like very new to this MCU world and Marvel's universe, is like a huge oh shit, like good on you guys for like doing that.
Tony.
To that point, with Law, what everyone's saying. So I didn't know the background with him being Yellow Jacket after I did my watches of YouTube and everything. Then I learned about it, and that version of Yellow Jacket with Hank is I think he's very abusive to his loved ones around him. Becomes pretty much a broken, demented person. So you see that here in the fact that he is broken over the fact that he lost his daughter and blames everything on Shield. But what I really do love, what we're talking about, is that the show is able to give us all these little scenarios, nuggets, obscure storylines that, we won't get in the MCU, but we can mess around with them. Like, I don't think they'll do it this time or around, because we got that Captain America Hail Hydra nugget in Endgame, but this would be a place where you can have Hydra Cap, because you can just have it. And there's nothing wrong with just kind of playing around with all these different storylines that won't work in your MCU main storyline for all your phases, but just having the obscure branches that didn't get clipped and just saying, here's what's going on, and we're going to leave that alone. So we'll see zombies and all that stuff. So I'm pumped for it. But I like what they did with Hank Pym. It made sense for 30 minutes, for a 30-minute plot of why all the Avengers are getting killed. You put it on Hank, him going crazy, him losing his daughter after losing his wife, and just go on revenge spree. Makes sense. 30 minutes. Boom.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it bigger, we can always examine it bigger. If it had to do with the director and kind of being involved with that, trying to get under Samuel, because everyone knows that Nick Fury has been trying to do this Avengers initiative. At least all of the higher ups kind of knew, and they were trying to do the Hydra thing on the onset. So in this universe, maybe they kind of stop that before it happens, and all of that goes into play, which is why Hope dies in Odessa, which is a place that we hear in Winter Soldier, and she could have been killed by the Winter Soldier. So,
Les, you're gonna be tagged in for this one because we also now get a character in this that we haven't seen in the MCU since the first Hulk movie that had Edward Norton before we got the switch, and all of a sudden it was Mark Ruffalo. I mean, it was a whole scroll shape-shifting thing. I don't know. But anyway, Mark Ruffalo now is the Hulk. But we get Betty Ross, who we haven't seen in the MCU, and this again, and they even go as far as recreating that scene where at the school when Banner was there. I mean, how did it feel, one, to see this character return, and two, to see them recreate this scene in the animation?
To me, being a fan of Hulk, I have always been expecting to see this character, because she is his love. She is the one that keeps him calm, and that is the one woman that he fights for. So I was very happy to see that whole scene created, which was an amazing scene in the Edward Norton Hulk movie, which I love that movie. And anybody didn't like that movie, you can talk to me about it, because after the first movie with Eric Bana. No.
Oh God, we don't talk about
movie,
that.
That movie doesn't exist.
We don't talk about that movie. Yes. So I thought it was a great movie, but I really love seeing this character, and I'm thinking to myself, hopefully, we're going to see that love recreated in future Hulk storylines. Because she's a very important part of what he does, his life, why he tries to keep normalcy. And it's all because he's trying to be normal for this love of this woman who is human that he never wants to harm or hurt. That is his goal. That is his intention. Either way, he's just a meandering guy just walking around helping people, in the old series,
Oh man, I remember that. With the music and everything walking off. Totally agree with Les. Thank you, Hulk. Yes. But before I go to Naja, talking about Betty Ross, I want to ask you, from one fellow comic book nerd to another. We know in the comics, Les, that General Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk. But then we also know that Betty Ross becomes the Red She-Hulk. So is that she was just now reintroduced to the MCU in What If? Do you think, because now we're getting shows like the She-Hulk and all that they're going to pull those triggers on those characters and reintroduce those characters, and maybe even recast Betty Ross for the films and all that?
Here's what I do know. The fact that they're opening up these universes means that the sky's the limit. And we could see that storyline. Now, I don't know if they can make it a storyline that we would want to plug into and actually watch. But the thing is that the door is open for that character to be present. It's open for us to have two of those characters in one movie. I just want to know how they're going to create that storyline and make it interesting for all of us based on how they've been doing all of the MCU movies from this point. They seem to be going towards a certain direction, but it's a possibility. Absolutely. I don't know if they're going to introduce her as the Red She-Hulk, but they're definitely probably going to introduce her as a love interest.
Okay, I want to see that. Daja, you're next. How do you feel about the reintroduction of Betty Ross into the MCU?
So I had one of those I know you moments.
Hello, old friend.
I was like, hold on. You seem familiar. It was because I'm not super familiar with different characters. When Betty came across, it was like, I know when I watched the Hulk movie, you were there. And now you're back. And I thought it was cool again because I don't know so much. I feel like it's introducing me to characters that I want to get to know. And I want to be more involved in the MCU, be more involved in having their separate series or their separate movies or interacting with different characters that I am familiar with and seeing how they change, right? Or how they present themselves differently with this character. Because when I think in my head, the Hulk is always just a giant green ass teddy bear.
Teddy Hulk.
I don't know if that's how you describe it, but sure.
That's how, I don't know. That's even when I was younger, like this is just the picture that I bring in my mind because of how, especially when it comes down to Betty, where he's like, I don't want to hurt people. I want to kind of like bring it down a little bit. So it just makes me like, oh, look at the teddy bear trying to do human things. Oh, like
he had a lullaby, so you're not wrong.
Yeah, he had his like more tender moments of just like, I don't want to be bothered, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the word.
So for those that don't know, Mighty Pong will be on next week to give you all of his reasons why Chris Pratt is his arch nemesis. But go ahead, Naja.
Chris Pratt is not. If Star-Lord is not a part.
Yes, and Chris Pratt.
You're gonna talk about him.
That sounds nasty. But it sounds like you can find it in New York City subways, though.
Oh.
Yep, you get the pepperoni pizza flavor.
Ooh, pizza cat, pizza rat. But yeah, so like,
he doesn't like Chris Pratt.
Go back to the episode and you'll see. And you'll see. You got to go back in time with that one. And see, that's if you subscribe to the channel, people, you would see Pong going in his rants. For some reason, Pong has every fourth episode, though.
And he also has receipts of like why. Like, so it's not like a unclaimed, like pulling out his back pocket. He has receipts of just this is why. And we're just like, you know.
It makes me think. It makes you think of like those people that have like the different pictures of multiple people they're obsessed with, and it has like the strings going across like the walls and stuff like that.
He's the
question. You just either hate them or love them.
She just Pepe Sylvia Pong.
Pong. Oh no. Are you Pepe Sylvia? Or are you Charlie in that episode?
Before we go, I told you're up next with Betty Ross.
I mean, it was a cool nod.
I gotta hear this. Go ahead, Tom.
It was a cool nod. It was cool to have her there. It was cool to have Mark Ruffalo play that scene with her. And I think it kind of fit the narrative of Fury's big week, and it's a really shitty week to be in when every single person needs to be a part of the Avengers Initiative is just like knocked down one by one. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just a cool that scenario, that time frame worked. But if they bring her back, cool. Because Thunderbolt Ross is in this for as long as they have him contracted for. My man shows up for 5 minutes and he's got his credit for MCU movie. Yeah. I'm unfamiliar. I'm not familiar with that Red She-Hulk storyline. I think it would be cool to bring her in. The actress's name is fleeting in my mind. I keep thinking Elf, Lord of the Rings, and I keep losing it, but it doesn't matter.
Wait, so are we not getting Liv Tyler again?
Liv Tyler.
Yeah, Liv Tyler.
Thank you.
Her dad is with Aerosmith.
Yeah. No.
Steve
Are we
Tyler.
not getting Liv Tyler in future MCU movies?
We don't know. We don't because
know.
she hasn't popped up.
She hasn't popped up since that first second Hulk movie.
Right.
And
No,
so
first
why,
Hulk movie. Get
so
it?
that's
You
why,
had it right.
So that's why Seabass
Oh.
is making it such a big deal that we see her now.
Right.
And will she? But I don't know. And it may be a thing where like they brought Jane Foster back, and that's because Taika had to sit down Natalie Portman and be like, "Listen, I got you a script, and you're gonna be an important character." Which was the way to bring her back. Otherwise, she was not coming back. So if they're gonna do that, she does need to have a role aside from ex-girlfriend of the Hulk.
Listen,
she needs to do something than just be there for his love interest or whatever.
Let me just interject right here. Okay. The whole reason why this man is trying to attain normalcy is because of that woman. If you know anything about that storyline, and so this is why she has to be present, because him just trying to be normal is just, it's boring. There's nothing there. It's his undying love for this female. So I would love to see that from a romantic standpoint. And I'm not trying to be all girly and everything, but in my opinion, he really doesn't have any other purpose than why he's trying to maintain his normalcy and not turn into the Hulk. This woman is she's the catalyst for everything.
I want to add to Les.
But MCU shoehorned Black Widow to fill that void. They did that. Like they had that. Maybe not in the comics, but in Age of Ultron, they talk about those. They have those conversations. Like those conversations are like trailing throughout the MCU, and then you see it all culminate when she's passed, and Smart Hulk throws the bench into the lake. So it was like I don't know why they did that. There's probably a contractual reason why they decided to do that, and they had to fit something there. But they really tried to pair that connection between him and Black Widow to kind of bring him back. And he decided to hibernate into himself and let the Hulk come out in Thor Ragnarok because he was leaving. And it wasn't until he saw that video of her in this craft when he was able to come back as Bruce. So,
but I don't think that was a love relationship. I think that he had actually had a friendship with her. He respected her. So I don't think that was a love relationship.
They try to make it a love relationship for the MCU because, like someone said, it might have been contractual things. It didn't come off too well, but they were hinting it.
They call it what Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon tried to make it. Yes, a love thing. It was Joss Whedon.
Okay, so there you go.
All the other movies kind of tiptoed around it. Yeah, they joke about it, but it's really because of Ultron, and then it's just kind of just lingers there.
Yeah, they have to clean up his mess because that totally goes against
Black Widow. Don't need no man; she's good.
No, exactly. Black Widow. But I do want to add to the point too with Betty Ross. A lot of people don't know that was one of the big weddings in comics too when Hulk finally married her, along with Spider-Man and Mary Jane and Scott Summers and Jean Grey. So that was one of the big Marvel weddings, and T'Challa and Storm was another one, and those are like the panels that artists drew for those weddings was like a who's who of superheroes in the Marvel universe in those particular weddings. So they were beautiful panels. If anybody's listening to that, search those panels, search them up, and there was like a whole big thing where Bleeder had to bring back Betty Ross, and Hulk almost stopped him, but then realized I have to stop because you're actually doing something good. It was like a whole big storyline. Hopefully one day we do get on screen because these were great storylines that featured the Hulk. But Laura, I want you to, how did you feel about Betty? And then we'll go into the final thing of talking about how Black Widow got washed in this episode. Don't know how, but go ahead, Laura.
We also got to talk about Loki.
Yeah. Those will be the last things. But essentially, real quick, I'm pretty much with everyone. Betsy was cool. I was like, cool, we got Betsy. I don't think it was something I was overly excited about because I knew it was a what if. So it was cool, we get to see her. Are we going to see her in main timeline? Because that's more for me. That's more important. Thank you for showing her in the one scene that we get Hulk and it's we get it. Cool, but she was there as that role because of that point in time. So I'm more so curious to see if she comes back and what her role is going to be and how she's going to now interact with Bruce if she is introduced again.
There you go. There we go. I agree with you all with that, with how they're gonna do that if they reintroduce her character, because now that Black Widow is gone and that, they had to clean up that Whedon mess. Mr. Whedon, go to the corner.
It's not a Whedon mess anymore. It's a Disney mess.
It's a DC mess. We don't talk about that movie that shall not be named that had Superman, Batman, and all them in it. But anyway, let's how did you feel? I know I always bring it back to
every time.
I always bring it back.
I said it was a Disney mess, and you decided to just think and skip and say, "Yeah, it's a DC mess." I'm like,
I know. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
We're gonna
he made a mess at Warner Media too. He made a mess there too.
Oh, I know.
No,
I know
we
they
get
did.
it. This is more a Seabass thing because I promise you, Seabass. I'm gonna start upping the price. $5 for every time on show. You say
you would get all the Monopoly money from me. All right, let's go. How did you feel about how did you feel about the whole Black Widow getting washed by Yellow Jacket in this episode? Because she really does hold her own. She was doing her best in the upper, but then all of a sudden it's like we get this scene that she just gets washed by this little thing.
She figured everything out. So it just, the way that whole scene played out, where she had her back turned to him and like she didn't know that he was going to be in the room or whatever. This woman is so smart and so stealth. I'll tell you, there were a couple of lazy writing issues in this episode, because that would not have happened. She wouldn't have been that careless. She wouldn't have gone to a place all by herself without alerting everybody about what's going on, without actually having some kind of a strategy or a plan. I honestly didn't like that scene. I didn't like it because that just is not her character. What I did like, though, was funny, was she did do her stance. She did do her battle stance in it. And I laughed very hard when I saw it, because they want to make sure they're going to keep doing that. But I don't know. I just don't think that I think she could have overpowered a lunatic old man, a maniacal old man. So I don't really have anything to say about that, except that I think they just wanted to progress the story along because it was at the third act and they had to get to the conclusion. Honestly, that's what that was. That scene was like, we got to get rid of her. So that's how we're just going to do it. We're not going to really see how she got rid of. We're going to just, do it like a cliffhanger, but then when the lights come up, she's dead. So it just was like ridiculous.
Naja.
I feel like me and Les are just the same person, even though we met today. Because I feel like everything that's coming out of her mouth is just like, yep, me too, And I was just doing that internally because I always see Black Widow as obviously not every super powered person or anybody who's Avengers is going to be like always beating up everybody all the time. That'd be boring. I'd be bored as hell if that happened all the time. However, the way it happened was kind of like, all right, so this is who beats her up. This guy, like I feel like there was a lot more that could be done, and it did. I do agree with kind of the feeling like rushed to the end because of where it was in the episode. And it makes me think about like how that really, I was like, I think you guys could have given it like a couple more minutes or something. You could have had that be just in one extended episode to properly portray Black Widow the way that she should have been for that part of the episode. So like that's like my gripe.
You know what I would have liked? I would have liked if Hank had reduced himself to a tiny, tiny, tiny fly size and got up into her brain and distorted her brain or something like that.
Yes.
But we didn't see that. We didn't see anything. Lights out. She's
that
dead.
would have made more sense to me. It's like, how are you going to fight a fly? It's hard. I've smacked myself in the face by accident trying to hit a fly. So I'm serious. I'm not. I'm not clumsy.
You with it, Law. Tagged in.
Oh, I'm like, what did I do now? No, I'm completely with it. Like, I think to some degree, like I know this was done way before the Scarlett Johansson thing. It felt like, all right, and we're done. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like, okay, but you could have, all right, make it make sense, but I guess you're not going to. So whatever. I can't gripe about it because it's done, but I am gonna gripe about it. Kind of feel. Like I would have loved, like Leslie said, like if brain pop, whatever the case would be. Let's get into the Loki stuff because I know me and Tony are like sitting there waiting.
Oh, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. I mean, you're gonna say we want you guys want to skip it? Tag. Okay, tag him.
I mean, in most of these things, if you don't see a body, then that means they're not dead. So
it's a what if.
It's a what if episode. I mean, it is what it is. I think everyone else had a real reason for Hank Pym to kill them. He was injected into all of their bodies, and then she gets dapped up a couple times, and then that's it. I'm not here for that. I think, I'm not saying she didn't get washed because I mean you got the little guy going around, but I don't think she's dead. And maybe she's gonna come back later on because we see at the end Nick Fury got Cap and he got Captain Marvel. So
I guess we'll let Naja lead in with this one now, because now we're going to get on to Loki, because now we get Loki that comes down. He's taking over the world. So how did you feel about this portrayal of Loki? And with the question, do you think that this is the universe where President Loki, the variant President Loki is from, who we saw in Loki?
Not gonna lie, I like this Loki a lot. Because obviously pre-Loki the show, my mind was like, Loki's a little bit of a dick. And so not that all of that goes away in the what if, but I just like a different portrayal of him, and I can see how this could potentially be President Loki in this, 'cause in my mind, anything is possible, obviously, in what if world. And if they did an entire series specifically on that, I'd be cool with it.
Leslie.
I want to ask everybody who did not see this coming.
You knew it was coming.
Who did not see this takeover coming?
I didn't think his takeover was happening from the onset. I mean, it little by little was like, all right, you're not just gonna leave. You know? I thought. I mean, and this, and I'll wait to my end to elaborate. But I thought Loki was the reason why all the Avengers were dying. I saw that Tom Hiddleston was credited and being in the episode, and then once we got to Hawkeye, I was like, what is Loki doing? What's Loki doing? And then obviously they change it and they don't let you know that Hank Pym is involved or whatever. But anyway, continue on, Les. I'm sorry, but
no, I agree with you. Now, I did think that possibly he was the one that was wiping everybody out, but I knew that the minute he came down, that it was going to be a takeover. He saw an opportunity there. Everybody that had ever accosted him, done anything to him, was all dead. So I knew that was going to happen. I think what I love Loki now, based on the show, based on the show that we've been watching, the Loki series. I actually love him. So I would be down for seeing what a world would look like as Loki is the leader. I would be down for it. I think he would get extremely bored though, because there's no challenge there for him. So it would be very interesting to see what a Loki world would be like and what people would be doing. Would they be running amok? Would he be in control of certain things? Would he wipe out anybody that gets more attention than he does? It'd be really interesting to see it. But I knew,
especially with we spoke about it with the Loki series, that he is chaos. So him being an instrument of order would be a very weird juxtaposition for him.
And him even trying to be because the thing is, even in chaos, there has to be order to chaos. Mm-hmm. So he would be the antithesis of what he was trying to be doing. What would that world look like? What would his challenges be? It would be a very interesting perspective, because he can't. How can he rule when there is chaos? He has to have some kind of order to things. There has to be some kind of rules or regulations in order for people to appease him, to make him the god that he is. Mm. But that would be a very interesting dilemma. It really would be.
Yeah.
So
I just love he's just one of those characters, like he's either this, that, but it's like he also get that moral gray with him. And I feel like we've seen two versions of his character's story that we followed, and then we've also seen outside of those two characters the possibilities if he went certain areas, and this delivered another. That's why I asked, like, do you think that this is the universe where President Loki came in? But it's like we have so many, like as we saw in Loki, there are so many variants of his character. So it's like I think the TVA would just he I would say he's probably like he's become the best character in the whole series. He's become the villain that you want to root for.
Yeah. Actually, to add what was said, like, even though I know I just said he's a dick, I do like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, and even like watching the series and just I like having the series that gets you to understand Loki a lot more and like where his head is at. I feel like if he truly became president, I feel like he would do kind of, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie like Megamind, like the animated series, but like the animated movie where it's like, oh, he defeats the super people. Now he can do whatever he wants, creates all his chaos, gets bored, and basically creates a new superhero people for him to fight so he stops being bored. So I feel like that might be something that he does because he's like, ah ha ha, I've done everything. I am chaos, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, dang, I've been doing the same chaos stuff for the last like 2 weeks. Like, does anybody got powers? Please somebody fight me. Just threaten to punch me in the face. Like, I feel like that would be, I'm seriously think that would be.
Yeah, he definitely has ADHD, so he would get bored very quickly. So.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that would be, I'm right there with you.
I love it. I love it. Lord, tagging you in. Suspect Loki.
I don't know that this is President Loki because I feel like President Loki is a very singular entity in and of itself. But this is an interesting Loki. But I'm here with everyone else where this is the Loki that, you know, he took over the world and can possibly take over a bunch of other places. One, because he doesn't have Thor to stop him and keep him in line, like, and be his moral compass, to say the least, to keep him in check, keep him in line. And we don't know that Hela exists in this world. We don't know, you know, his deal with Odin or what have you. So this could very well be a world where he takes over and just keeps conquering, and doesn't have the Thanos behind him because he has no need for Thanos. He can do it on his own. You know what I mean? Because Thanos essentially was him working to get more power and be a means to an end. But if he can do it on his own, he doesn't need Thanos. So that would be the interesting story for me, is like, at what point do you become so great that you are on Thanos' radar now that you know, those stories have separated? At what point do they reconverge? And at what point does Thanos see you as a threat for what he wants? Or maybe he just like goes, all right, you stay there in your lane and I stay there in mine. You know?
Tone, take us away.
I thought that this was the perfect scenario for Loki to take over Earth, because Earth is no longer under protection. It is the place where the son of Odin was killed, and Loki is not by himself. He has the blessing of Asgard on his side. He's got all of their forces. He's got all of the heroes, all of the Loki-ness and Loki-isms.
The wildest part is that he had the authority to do what he was doing.
So like all that Loki shit that he'll be doing, he'll still be doing in the background. He'll still be very Machiavelli, all that other fun stuff, but without worrying about everyone else seeing him being conniving and mischievous. All they're seeing is that he's just subjugating the people of the world where the son of Odin was killed. And it probably won't be until, I'll call it what it is, until the Wakandans come around and be like, all right, what are you guys doing? Because they're not part of the United Nations. They're still hidden. They think they took over everything. We still got Wakanda. Wakanda will be a problem. I don't care. They'll take them all out. And then we have the ending with Captain America and with Captain Marvel, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be an antithesis. There's always going to be an opposite for you. So while Loki's done this and he gave his big speech that he gave in Avengers, he gave in his address to the United Nations of humans always wanting to be subjugated, there's going to be factions of people or anything that are going to try to take him down. And we'll see. This could be possible to lead up to the multiversal Avengers or whatever the hell we want to call it, because we do see that whole New York scene happen, and we see all these people show up, and it could be on the Earth where where Earth's mightiest heroes are no longer there, and you have to fight against Loki. But I don't think he's President Loki because he's at such an advantageous position where he's not by himself. And we always saw throughout the Loki show that Loki always ends up by himself, and we're not there yet. Obviously, it happens. Loki becomes by himself at the end of the Thor movie when he kicks him off Asgard and finds Thanos. So that hasn't happened yet. So he's still kind of part of Asgard and kind of part of a son of Odin. He's not alone yet. So I think we still got a lot to go with that Loki before anything else happens.
Awesome. Guys, this has been an awesome episode. But before we go, and everyone who's watching, we do want to give another big shout out for Geeks Out Staten Island, Naja being here. We are going to play her commercial one more time. We'll be right back after this commercial. So hold on, guys. And that's a wrap right there. So make sure you go to the website, GOASICon.com, and make sure you guys are registered for Geeks Out Staten Island. Because again, the show is on Saturday, September 4th, and is a virtual show September 5th. So make sure you go. Right, Naja? Did you get it right?
Yeah, you got it all right.
So again, guys. And
You
yes, Pong,
you could talk about it next week.
And Pong will be talking about it all next week. That is a promise. So thank you to Les for being guest host with us today, for joining us from the Bit and Apple and Cliff Dive Productions. Guys, we will be seeing you around. Thank you again for tuning in on the Tuesday night. Nerds, peace out. One love.
Bye.